It's the nightcap of the Friday session here at the Pat Paterson Thanksgiving Tip-Off from the birthplace of intercollegiate basketball, Hamline University's Hutton Arena. Mike Peden and Alex Nagel with you. We've got Chaska and Centennial on the docket. Centennial from the Northwest Suburban. Chaska trying to build their way back after those glorious years with Terrace Seifert. Alex, these are two sleepers, two teams that have a tall hill to climb if they want to get out of their section into state. But on the Centennial side, they've got Autumn McCall, who is going to St. Thomas, and a lot of experience coming back. Caitlin Peterson, that could add up in a big way in a game like this.
You know, two unknowns, or relatively unknowns, I guess, when you take a look at this contest. But at the same time, I think there's something very intriguing about this game because, you know, when you have two teams that are looking to make that proverbial jump, you know, you can often get really good contests. And I think we just may be surprised, just like we were in the last game.
Well, Chaska 1-1. They lost to Prior Lake, who is in their section. Section 2-4A, we've often said the group of death. Centennial played earlier this week and beat Spring Lake Park in their first conference game of the year. Autumn McCall had 14 points to lead Spring Lake Park, or Centennial that is. And Ella Keenan, the focal point for Chaska, she's averaging 20.5 through 2 games. I suspect those two are going to be the ones to watch in this matchup. Centennial and Chaska, even though they're not frontrunners this year, they do have historic legacies. Terrace Seifert, of course, and all the teams she took to state, and their championship team in 2021. Centennial in 2021 lost to Chaska in that state championship.
Yep.
So there is some history between these two. As the starters have been introduced, let's recap them for you. Chaska, it will be Alexis Schaefer, Addie Schneider, Addie Perkins, Ella Keenan, and Hannah Toole. Centennial starting Kate Lee, Autumn McCall, Cindy Schmitz, Claire Pullman, and Caitlin Peterson.
You know, one thing, when you look at the rosters of these two teams, Mike, you'll see that these are not two teams with a bunch of inexperienced sophomores and juniors. You've got a lot of seniors here that have got some experience under their belt.
Samantha Cantor, the head coach for Chaska, taking over for Terrace Seifert, who was at the helm seemingly forever, but did a lot of great things for the Hawks. Addie Schneider, Ella Keenan, Alexis Schaefer are going to be the ones to watch. For Centennial, outside of Marissa Frost, most of that team from a year ago is back. For Jamie Sobolik, I would think Autumn McCall is going to get a little more attention with what she can do for this team. And Centennial, we talk about history. We mentioned their run in 21. They had a run to the championship back in 2009 with Megan Knipe. And I remember all those years ago, we've been reflecting on Pat Paterson history. We had a shocker in our last game. I remember when Centennial upset St. Paul Central at this very event.
Wow.
All those years ago, back in 2007.
Jeez.
Much different team back then. Megan Knipe and
Megan, yes.
Kiara Allams, who went by KK. Now it's Kai.
Yeah, actually one of the best games I was ever at involved that 2008 Centennial team that lost to Osseo in the Section 5 AAA championship game up at Anoka.
Back in Osseo's heyday.
Yep.
And they had some teams that went to state.
With Jenny Sonneborg and Brianna Olson.
And then later on, Janae Morton and Phyllis Webb steered the ship. Of course, Janae Morton, here's Centennial, missing the layup from down low. Janae Morton, of course, winning a championship last spring with MSU Mankato in Division II. Chaska, short corner J, off the back iron. And for Chaska, I think about all the players that Terrace Seifert had, And not just the coaching change, but the graduations. Kennedy Sanders, who I think had to redshirt last year, but she's at Colorado. Aubrey Heyer went to Bemidji State. Her older sister, Mallory, is playing at Minnesota. There is another Heyer in Natalie. Anna Lenzen, she was a D2
It does almost seem like yesterday when Chaska knocked off Rosemount for that state championship.
Oh, that's right. It was Rosemount. I thought it was Centennial. Yeah. That's right. Centennial reached the semis. Thank you for correcting me. Otherwise, I would get angry emails from Rosemount fans who are watching this wondering, who is this hack? Catch and shoot 3 is there for Alexis Schaefer. This is what happens, folks, when you cover the sport for 18 years. Some of the historical facts get a little jumbled. It's hard to keep 18 years worth of data in your head. Chaska on the board. Centennial looking to go inside, and they turn it over. Centennial couldn't get through last year in Section 7. Andover won, but with all the graduations Andover had, Centennial may be in the driver's seat to win Section 7 again. Anoka started the year with the win over section rival Forest Lake.
And if you're Centennial and if you're head coach Jeannie Sobely, you just want to build slowly, try to build some consistency with this team. You're not going to have that at Thanksgiving time for sure. But you want to see all that hard work start paying off come January when you delve into the meat of your regular season schedule.
Autumn McCall scratching and clawing, but nothing to show for it. I'll elaborate further on your Centennial point. Alexis Schaefer missing the 3 that time, didn't touch iron. Now she works her way inside, can't get the bounce. Third try, and free throws coming for Ella Keenan. So I'll hold that thought. Ella Keenan, an All-Metro West honoree and All-State honorable mention. And on the Centennial side of it, Alex, historically, the last few years, they've had slow starts, 22 and 23.
Right.
They had slow starts and then bounced back, including their most recent state appearance in 2022. I think the key for Centennial, can they avoid another one?
That's seemingly always the challenge.
And it's not like it dooms them, because it's not NCAA Division I, II, or NBA, WNBA, where if you have a bad start, you put yourself in a tough spot for playoffs. But if Centennial can whip something together,
great recognition.
On cue, Schmitz to McCall. If they can get started on the right track and go on that win streak and not have to play catch-up, maybe that would speak to their confidence. Alexis Schaefer, no lack of confidence on her part, moves in for 2 and has a chance for 3. Alexis Schaefer. A manager on the girls' soccer team, also in the National Honor Society. And she's off to a quick 6 for the Hawks of Chaska. Centennial getting a little full-court press here. Here's McCall. Trying to push off, get a little bit of space. That didn't work, so when all else fails, just go for the turnaround jumper and pick it off the glass. Well, Autumn McCall, she's going to St. Thomas, and she is going to start, I think St. Thomas, we've got free throws coming for Ella Keenan. St. Thomas, I think they have one more year of their probation period, but McCall and some of the St. Thomas commits, they're going to have a chance to do something that Jade Hill and others weren't able to do, and that is compete for NCAA and conference tournaments.
Yep.
Or at least NCAA postseason tournaments. NCAA, WNIT, all of that.
It's kind of like a one step at a time deal, but and as a MIAC guy, I still have buyer's, or I guess I should say seller's remorse about losing a school like St. Thomas that flew the flag for the MIAC for so long.
Ella Keenan making both free throws. She's on the board for the Hawks. This is Sydney Schmitz.
I think she stepped on the line. Where do we have a shot clock issue?
Another shot clock issue. We've had a few of those tonight. Yeah, no other confirmed college commits on the Centennial side, but St. Thomas, well, their flag is flying a lot higher these days. They're going to get a new facility for hockey and basketball. That's going to be a sight to see. Chaska snatched the ball. Centennial steals it back. The three is short. That was Kaylin Green. But an offensive rebound gives Centennial another crack. Claire Pullman was looking for help. Now Green's got it. Pullman. Over to Schmitz. Schmitz didn't see anyone. Lost the ball to Chaska. Keenan can't control the rebound. I was thinking about what you said, though, with St. Thomas and the MIAC. Gustavus has tried to do that in recent years in women's basketball.
Yeah. Well, they both, Gustavus and Concordia, were ranked here this last week in the top 25.
We've got a mad dash. Chaska will let it roll out of bounds.
Things have arguably been a little rough around the edges here in these opening minutes of this contest.
Well, these are two teams who, again, are sleepers. Centennial has a good chance, I think, of getting out of the section. The problem is that Section 7 historically hasn't fared all that well. But Alexis Schaefer is beyond well. She is
another big,
fantastic in this early stage.
Another big three there by Alexis Schaefer. Her second of this game, if I'm not mistaken.
It is her second, and she's got 9 points, the 2 threes and the three-point play. Now, there is, okay, I thought a milestone sign. No, that's just a fan sign. I'm always looking out for that because sometimes they sneak up on you. 13:03 left. Centennial with a slow start here. They trail 11-4. Alexis Schaefer off to that hot start. It seems like Centennial having a hard time finding a rhythm, finding a flow here.
Yeah, everything seems to be out of whack here at the moment. They need to settle down a little bit. Maybe this stoppage and play will give them that opportunity to do so.
And then the Northwest Suburban, Maple Grove in their last year there, you'd think they would have a good chance of winning the conference. I am curious, Alex, if another school will take the place of Maple Grove.
You know, that's
kind of like what Rogers did after Irondale switched to the Suburban East.
You know, that's the I guess the element that we still don't know yet.
For a time, they fielded some strong teams: Osseo Park Center, Centennial, Maple Grove, and they've run into a bit of a rut in recent years in terms of that competitive ability. You still can get some good basketball, but
I mean, it seems a little hard to believe that we're like 10 years removed from the great run that Park Center had
when they won 2 3A titles
back in the day,
and then made a couple more in 4A.
Yeah.
That's McCall with the swat on Perkins. It's still Chaska ball. Not Berlon, perhaps. No, they do get the recovery. 3, missed the mark. That was Schneider. McCall, the turnaround, will shoot 2. Autumn McCall, Alex, I don't know what collections you keep. When she goes out on location, when she does her traveling, she will collect glass turtles from the places or close friends that she visits.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Well, she does have a snappingly good talent, if I would say so myself.
Yes.
I'll show myself out again. I know John is probably sick of this by now. It's a split for McCall at the line. McCall, a Minnesota Fury product. That's Macy Anderson. Alex talking about the past. McCall focusing on the future. The steal, trails, scores.
That's the kind of finish in transition that the Cougars need.
Now that's a highlight-worthy play. The steal, the offensive rebound, and the layup in transition. Schaefer, now Schneider. Left wing three, short. That was Schneider on the attempt. But Alex, speaking of the past, I noticed Macy Anderson wearing number 2 for a split second. I wanted to say that was Kennedy Sanders because I was used to seeing her do all sorts of wondrous, sensational things. She was one of the best point guards, and I can't wait to see what she can do healthy at Colorado. Right now it's Centennial ball. McCall needs help. Remember, the 5-second count applies on held balls only. Kaylin Green missing the mark. Short J. And the rebound goes to Kate Lee. Lee, back out to McCall. McCall playing cleanup artist, cleanup duty here. No bucket, but if Alex, if she can find her stroke, she may get a double-double before the half is out.
Those are some of the small things that you have to clean up. It's great to get that offensive rebound, but you got to get that finish too.
Especially when no one's on you like that.
Exactly.
Rebound, pinballs to the floor. Jump ball, Chaska with the arrow. Mallory Heyer, Kennedy Sanders, perhaps the biggest names in recent years. Chaska also home to a Miss Basketball winner and Courtney Boylan, which was a shocker back in 2008. She hadn't won a state championship. Kiara Buford had 2. Everyone thought Kiara was going to get it, but it went to Courtney. Right now, Schneider looking for the layup. Doesn't get it. Caitlin Peterson ensnares the rebound. McCall to Peterson. Had a defender in her face, Reagan Niebuhr, the 6'2 senior.
Had to put up an awkward shot on that.
That was height on height, 6'1 on 6'2. No real space to get open. Kick ball. Which in handball would hand possession to the other team, but that doesn't work out exactly like that in basketball. 9:53 left in the first half. Final game of the Friday session. We will be here tomorrow with a slightly different announcing crew for Rosemount Maple Grove. That should be a lot of fun. Foul on Anderson as McCall was able to collect the board. McCall. Not a bad idea. The problem was Addie Schneider snuck up from behind to intercept the pass. An invasive species of a steal. Now Chaska.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Correct themselves. 35 seconds is a lot of time. And in the 2 years I've seen it, 10 to shoot now. Nowhere for Chaska to go. They've got 3. Schneider. Can't drop in the rainbow.
Well, not the cleanest possession that you'll ever see, but the fact that they were able to even get a chance, a shot off to.
They got a shot off, but that was
the end was.
That was top-notch defense, though, by Centennial.
Yes.
They didn't give any lane. Autumn McCall will shoot 2 more. But when the shot clock went off, you and I last year did the Centennial Maple Grove game. And I'll never forget Jamie Sobolik, the head coach, shouting, "The horn means nothing," because everyone stopped. I don't think that's going to be an issue this year, now that everyone's had a full year to get acclimated to the shot clock. Autumn McCall off to a terrific start. Autumn McCall, as we get a timeout taken by Chaska, has all 9 of Centennial's points with 8:45 left in the first half.
Well, sometimes it doesn't matter how you do it. It's just as long as you do it.
Well, so far it's been one-woman shows.
Credit.
It's been one-woman shows.
Yes.
Alexis Schaefer has 9 of Chaska's 11 points. The difference is a pair of free throws from Ella Keenan.
Well, and
they say this isn't a one-on-one. This is not one-on-one.
I think the bigger storyline surrounding this contest thus far is the amount of turnovers that both teams have committed, and that's far more than either coach would like, obviously. I think the team that finds a way to clean things up a little, be a little more efficient on the offensive end, is going to have the upper hand.
Chaska in the Metro West. So that means Benilde St. Margaret's their toughest foe. And Centennial, they always find a way, even though they may not have the success. They remind me in a lot of ways of White Bear Lake.
Yeah, I think there's some parallels there. I think there's some synergies there that I can see on that.
Teams that are always in the mix to at least get into state come season's end. But I'm looking at Centennial's schedule. They will play Delano, and that is not a pushover game. We saw Orono shock Minnetonka, so Delano might give them a run. And they will do a doubleheader with Stillwater this year. And Centennial will also play a road game at Eden Prairie. 3 ball. Schneider missing, and Chaska. Both teams just playing 1 game in this Pat Paterson Invitational. Rosemount and Maple Grove will come here tomorrow. Chaska, they will play Wayzata, Hopkins, and St. Michael Abbeville, Eden Prairie, and Minnetonka, so they are running through the gauntlet of the lake. They'll do a lot of learning. And then Orono in their conference. Alex, I think that Metro West, the Benilde St. Margaret's Orono series, is going to be one to circle on the calendar.
Yep.
After what we saw tonight. Chaska missing. Claire Pullman. Over to Caitlin Green. And that will be a foul on Caitlin Peterson. Well, Alex won't be with me tomorrow. I'll be at White Bear Lake if you're watching this on YouTube. Alex is going to cheer on UCLA in their season finale with
Fresno State.
Fresno State. That's right. USC was last week.
Yeah.
You got a raw end there. We got all the big rivalries. Ohio State, Michigan, Minnesota beat Wisconsin to take back the axe for another year. Schneider off the window, not there. Gets a second try. Alex, everyone outside of McCall and Schaefer are having a rough time. Chaska gets the timeout call. 7:18 left in the first half. This is a really weird game.
Yeah, it has been. It's just had some weird overtones, and we're stuck in a low-scoring game that you don't exactly need an abacus to keep track of, but
It's like these two teams were the radio star and then killed by video. Okay, this is not exactly video killed the radio star, but the song was sampled. I'm old. Okay, not that old, but still, I've become one of them. 7:18 left. What's it going to take to get out of this funk? Because I would think, Alex, if someone can come up and up the production, get that on a jump start here, that is going to perhaps be the difference, because Chaska and Centennial are deadlocked right now. Addie Perkins.
So there's Alexis Schaefer camping out that right corner. There she is again.
Schaefer missing the corner three. Chaska and Centennial both have been getting their fair share of O-boards. But an out-of-bounds call gives it to Centennial. Inside. Pullman and Abby Matthews, and nothing to show for it. Schaefer looking for the runner. Gets the bounce. So Alexis Schaefer up to 11. Every game, every season, Alex, I seemingly encounter more and more unexpected circumstances, moments. Last week, I saw a player score on the wrong basket. This game, apparently only two people can find the bucket right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of them.
Well, there she is hanging out in that left corner.
That will set up a baseline drive. Short. And Hannah Toole stepped on the line. I'm wondering if she's related to Hadley Toole from Alexandria.
Great attempt there by Thal, trying to get that offensive rebound, but she ran out of real estate.
Five minutes, 35 seconds. A game with a sluggish pace, a sluggish feel.
Yeah, that last shot attempt is kind of Centennial in a nutshell in this first half. They've had the looks, especially, I mean, close shot, bunnies like that, but they just can't get them to go down.
And Addie Schneider will look to score her first set of points here. It's a split for Schneider. 14-9, Centennial looking to push. And they push themselves into a tight spot again. The three is short. Schaefer with the rebound. McCall through the hole. Just hasn't found that shot consistently. Chaska can't get the outlet down, and they'll have to settle for a side out. I know it's still early, Alex, but compared to the first two games that we saw here, Minnehaha, De La Salle,
seemed to be cleaner.
Minnetonka, Orono, right. You had a lot of high-caliber players. These two, I think, are still working to discover that. You've got a D1 and Autumn McCall, and Ella Keenan scores on the turnaround. That's her first field goal.
Lanky senior.
Chaska up by 7, seemingly by just finding ways to get some points.
I mean, 7 points isn't that much, but the way this game has gone, it seems like a lot more.
Matthews really didn't
And
get into a
chance
good
to perhaps
position there.
Consolidate on this possession.
Chaska looking to expand. Have they found a surge? It looks like they have found their form after being
That was
on the
just a
struggle
great
bus.
pass. Great pass by Fell there.
Tool to Keenan. Ella's got 6. And Alex, going back to what we said earlier, when you have a score like this where one player was chipping in, now Chaska getting some help from Ella Keenan. In a matchup like this, that might be enough. If Centennial can't find someone, they're still stuck at 9. The only player who has scored is Autumn McCall. McCall in a jam. 3 is short, and Centennial can't save it in time. The only circumstance, the only time I can recall a scoring distribution this lopsided was back in the Class A and 2A days of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Carly Wayne and Rebecca Dahlman come to mind, where you would lean on them a lot to do the scoring. Kate Lee swipes it away. McCall, straightaway 3. I don't know what else there is to say, Alex. Centennial continuing to struggle mightily to find their shot, and if they can't get out of that funk, it could be a long game.
And you know, when your opponent cashes in on the other end, it makes kind of exacerbates the situation. And down 20-9, Centennial's got to do some serious regrouping here.
9-0 run for Chaska as Alexis Schaefer converted the runner. 13 points for Schaefer. Keenan with 6. Alexis Schaefer, the senior, going to Augustana. So she'll be heading to the NSIC, which is a pretty stellar conference now in its own right, with MSU Mankato leading the way.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are a lot of minutia moments like Minnetonka-Orono, little things that added up. Here, there's not a whole lot really to say.
Yeah. Well,
Centennial just has to find a way to get someone other than Autumn McCall involved.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, I think, what adjustments Centennial's Jamie Soberly makes at the halftime break, you know, just to try and give his team a little more flow offensively. Right now, Autumn McCall is doing a lot of work, and she's, you know, whether it's down low or behind the arc, it's just not working. He's got to find a way to get some other players involved here and kind of take the load off of her, I think.
2:57 left in the first half, and if there's any sense of consolation for Centennial, it's the fact that we're still in the first half. Plenty of time to work their way out of it. We saw an 11-point lead erased with Orono beating Minnetonka. And I've seen some bigger ones. McCall. That's what Centennial was looking for as she gets the friendly bounce.
Nice finish inside there.
11 points from McCall. She remains the lone scorer.
Boy, I tell you what.
And Chaska starting to find other sources of offense.
All of a sudden, the Hawks are starting to light it up from downtown.
First field goal for Addie Schaefer. This could spell trouble. Centennial going high-low, and that will lead to free throws for Kate Lee.
Lee, the junior, that was a nice pass too. Tough pass, getting it down low through traffic. Let's see if she can cash in here at the charity stripe. And that's the other thing, you know, when you're down like this, when you get opportunities at the free throw line, it's where you got to cash in.
Kate Lee, the junior.
Yes.
had some struggles, shooting issues last year. Jamie Soboluk hoping she is on the back end of that. Took on a lot of top wings a year ago, gets on the board. Spin move and free throws coming for Ella Keenan, who has 6 points. And Chaska playing a couple of games, beating Champlain Park handily, and then losing to Prior Lake. Ella Keenan, the team's leading scorer in the early part of the season. Prior Lake, another team that is a sleeper, but they've got a D1 in Bree Bowman. I do think Minnetonka and Eden Prairie are going to be the finalists in Section 2. But we saw Orono beat Minnetonka, so maybe a surprise or a shocker awaits us. Centennial looking to feed it inside again. Jump ball. Centennial with the arrow.
Got tied up with Alexis Schaefer there.
I don't think McCall knew Schaefer was there.
I kind of think you're right.
The way she put in that spin move, I don't think she was anticipating Schaefer to be in that spot. Lee, McCall looking to utilize the screen. 7 to shoot. 3 ball. Corner pocket. Finally, another Centennial player makes a field goal, and it's Sydney Schmitz.
A big 3 by Schmitz. Boy, I tell you what.
Schaefer cannot answer, but Toole got the rebound. Schaefer wipe away the bucket. Traveling call.
Well, the Cougars dodged the bullet on that one. You know, that's got to drive any coach crazy when you give up offensive rebounds like that. You've got to find ways to box out.
Centennial has a chance to get back in striking range with under a minute to go, 50 seconds to be precise. Bounce pass, the turnaround. Lee came in from nowhere to give Centennial another try. McCall wanted the 3. Schaefer on top of her, entry pass deflected. Another scramble, and Chaska will hold the arrow this time. And they should hold this for the final shot. Yes, because the change of possession is occurring in the backcourt. That's another instance to remind viewers of. If there's a turnover and then a change to the front court, it's set to 20 seconds. Backcourt, the 35-second shot clock is put in place. We have 18 seconds here.
Oh,
backdoor,
what a pass.
Extra pass. Chaska can hold for the last shot, but they're going to make their move now. And Addie Schneider will shoot 2.
Now, that's a possession that any coach would like, I would think. You used the shot clock. You were patient. You moved the ball around. You got the defense off guard a little bit. Now you get a chance to get at the free throw line here and get something out of it.
Addie Schneider, the junior, one of the emerging leaders for Chaska, averaging 16.5 through 2. These two may not have the depth of the earlier teams. I think the key word, Alex, is potential. These two have potential that needs to be realized. 5 seconds. Green puts it up. Offline. And the first half ends with Chaska leading 26-15. Alexis Schaefer and Autumn McCall putting on a show, but the key for Centennial, can they find other sources of offense to support McCall? Otherwise, Chaska could pull away here in the second half.
It's no doubt about it, Centennial's got some serious fence mending to do here at the halftime break. Be interesting to see what adjustments that head coach Jamie Silverly can make.
Well, we'll take a dance around that picket fence and come back for the second half. This is the Pat Paterson Thanksgiving Tip-Off. Chaska leads Centennial 26-15. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Mike Peden and Alex Nagel ready to cap off this Friday session at the Pat Paterson Thanksgiving Tip-Off. Chaska and Centennial. Hawks lead the Cougars 26-15 at halftime. Alexis Schaefer, 13 points. Ella Keenan with 7. Addie Schneider with 6. Centennial led by Autumn McCall with 11. But Alex, it was Chaska who found those other sources, other contributors first. We'll see if that's enough to get them the win, or if Centennial has another burst, another gear residing within them.
You know, again, you look at the score at 26-15 here at the half. I mean, 11 points isn't that daunting normally. However, with the struggles that Centennial has had in that first half to find any rhythm or flow on offense, it's a lot bigger than what it is in reality.
Centennial trying to pick up another win to go to 2-0. Chaska split their first two games. Remember, the season started last weekend. It had to do with where Thanksgiving fell on the calendar. So typically, Thanksgiving weekend is when we start. But because of how the calendar fell this year, it was the Tip-Off Classic that started the year for a lot of teams. So it is technically not a tip-off in terms of tipping off the season, but it is for a lot of folks who enjoy basketball, a chance to usher in the start of a new year. And what I love about this and the Twin Cities tip-off is getting to see all these teams, a lot of contenders from the Metro and beyond.
You know, I've always felt that the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half of a ball game are the most important of them. Have a big say in how things are flowing, and right now you can see that things, just from this start by Chaska, they've kind of got it going their way.
In that respect, it was an important field goal for Alexis Schaefer. There's Keenan, kicks out to Schaefer, feeling it, bullseye!
Alexis Schaefer seemed to be camping out in that left wing or left corner all game long. She drained another one there.
3 triples. McCall looking for the answer, won't get it. But Chaska soaring after some initial difficulties leaving the nest. Aaron inbound. Kate Lee coughs it up and hands it to Schneider. Who adds a spin move for Flair, but
what a start here by Chaska.
They've scored the first 7, and they could add more to it. They had a 9-0 run midway through the first. They're looking to make it 10-0. The offensive rebound gives them another chance. Schaefer from the left corner. Short that time. Lunging for the ball. It was tipped. So a third try potentially for Chaska. Schneider with 10. Schaefer, the runner. Schaefer doing everything.
You know, I mean, that offensive possession right there by Chaska is a microcosm of what's going on for Centennial right now. I mean, how many opportunities did he get? 3 on that?
Chaska looks a little more spry. And I go back to an axiom from Kevin Anderson, one of our colleagues. When you shoot well, you look good. When you don't shoot well,
right,
you run into trouble. Chaska shooting lights out in the second half. Centennial, not so much.
If you're Centennial, this is where you have to start showing that sense of urgency, that hustle, that willingness to go after rebounds. I mean, when you give up 3 offensive rebounds like that, that's a problem.
Addie Schneider at the line, a soccer and basketball athlete for Chaska. And with those free throws, Chaska on an 11-0 run to start the second half. And doing it in quick succession. A little bit of a bunny hop, the 3. Nothing going in for Centennial right now. Schneider, spin move, lunges around. And that's always tough when you fade away like that. McCall rejecting Perkins. And Centennial translated into points. They do on the cut and the finish by Kate Lee.
And finally, you see the Cougars, some signs of life here on offense.
At this point, they'll take any sign of life. First field goal for Kate Lee. But no three-point play to be had. Keenan underneath. Schneider with the dime. Lee. Another errant pass. Centennial can't recover it in time. Alex further illustrating the difference between the two. Chaska locked in with their passing. They just look more fluid right now.
Yeah, they really do.
In the second half after a first half where they had a hard time until late.
But I think if from a Centennial standpoint, you know, what you have to be a little bit bothered by, I don't see that sense of urgency.
And Centennial, it's not like they got caught flat-footed to start the year. They beat Spring Lake Park. 12-footer doesn't go down for Caitlin Peterson. Schneider. Missed Schaefer initially. Now she'll launch a 3. That bounces off the rim. Kate Lee. Attempted to accelerate, but Schneider took away the kick out. Catch and shoot, swish. Hannah Toole on the touch, mid-range J. Chaska up 41-17. McCall. Centennial coming so close. They've had a few shots go halfway in seemingly, but McCall does collect the rebound after Anderson missed the runner. Now McCall on the take. Schaefer stayed with her.
Well, and she's really trying to carry the entire load right now for Centennial.
Up until late in the first half, she was the only Centennial player to score.
Boy.
And Chaska.
Well, when it rains, it pours.
Chaska turning this into their personal playground. Ella Keenan up to 12 on that triple. Green. Peterson wasn't This perhaps not quite as drastic as last week when Fridley and Park Center played at the Tip-Off Classic. I don't know if you heard about that one, Alex.
Not very many details, but I understand it didn't go too well for Park Center.
Well, in the second half at least, it was a one-point game at halftime, and then Fridley, if I'm correct, put up 67 in the second half to score over 100. A few substitutions taking place.
I think she called it off the glass, if I'm not mistaken.
I have been rendered speechless. Chaska has neutralized my ability to communicate. That was Reagan Niebuhr with the 3. Chaska with a 21-2 advantage in the second half.
It's...
I don't know what else you can do if you're Centennial. It's just hard to operate. It's hard to function with any sense of efficiency when you can't get anything to go in. And I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer on what they should do. Oh, they should go inside, go outside. But they just can't put that darn ball in the hole.
Well, it was odd because we saw things right from the get-go of this second half go from bad to worse for Centennial.
And I'm not used to seeing Centennial struggle at such epic proportions like this.
Well, I think the thing that really, if you look at it from Centennial standpoint, when it was it was 11 points. That's not an insurmountable deficit to overcome. You didn't see the sense of urgency. And again, neither of these teams are even remotely close to playing their best ball of the season yet. Let's be clear about that. But you've got to have some sense, of urgency when you go out there.
And Centennial, they've been an annual participant over the last few years in this event, usually doing one game. But the meeting with Chaska 2 years ago, and the meeting with White Bear Lake last year, Centennial was in it until the end.
That's kind of the way it's been all night.
Takeaway for the Cougars.
Here we go.
Sears. Emilia Del Medico with the score. Alex, I feel like Jamie Sobolik has put in some of the deep players just to see if he can get something going.
Yeah.
So Emilia Del Medico is on the board after the takeaway by Sydney Sears. I haven't seen too many 29-point comebacks in 11 minutes, but you got to start somewhere.
This is, I guess, a classic example where you want to break out Jerry Reed's song, "We Got a Long Way to Go in a Short Time to Get There."
Well, it's better than the opposite, where you've got nothing to do and all day to do it. Yes, I still have too much time in my hands.
Yeah.
Although, not really fitting with the theme. Then again, I'm not really known. You and I don't know if we're part of a funky bunch, if you know what I mean.
We do have our moments, I will say that.
We certainly do. Hey, the Vikings came back from 33 to beat the Colts a couple years ago.
And my UCLA Bruins a few years back came down from being down 49-17 up at Washington State, so
comebacks do happen.
That was hopeless.
Comebacks do happen. I'm not saying it's likely. Centennial, they really need to find a way to finish more effectively, but again, you got to start somewhere. So they have 2 timeouts left. Chaska, no real pressure here. But Chaska, to me, is an example akin to Como Park or Minneapolis South when you have superstar athletes. There's Natalie Heyer. Can't put down the three. Niebuhr with the friendly bounce. So it looks like we're seeing more second stringers out there, Alex, to see what they can do. Kaylin Green missing the runner, or the layup attempt, that is. Schaefer. Anderson. Chaska tapping their bench. Niebuhr can't get the bounce this time. I've seen my share of runaways, some more apparent than others. Schaefer. Now Anderson's got it. That's Jenna Nelson, number 11, 3 to shoot. Anderson. Schaefer. Desperation heave. That was a shot clock violation. But the whistle sounded while the horn was going, so players didn't hear it. Alex, there is an example that comes to mind that speaks to the unpredictability, the volatility of games.
Yeah.
A few years ago, White Bear Lake and Stillwater. Conference rivals, first game, White Bear Lake won by hitting their threes. The second game, the score was 50-7, Stillwater at halftime.
Yep.
Anderson's runner is short and could not stay in bounds. I feel like this is one of those examples where if you were to re-roll the rack or re-rack, re-roll, re-rack, rerun, run it back, I don't know if we would get this discrepancy.
Yeah.
Because Centennial, are they the favorite to win 4A? No. But they also don't struggle like this often.
No, it's
not at this magnitude.
and I think when the Cougars get back to practice here on this next Monday, Jamie Sobel is going to have to. They're going to have to get back to the drawing board. Work on the fundamentals. Number one, taking care of the run. That's of primary importance. Just being more fluid. Knowing how to run that offense. Number two, you're going to have to get tougher on the boards.
9:07 left in the second half. If you're curious, the mercy rule threshold is 35. We're not quite at that mark yet. But you and I, over the years, we have witnessed matchups like this unfold, where you have a close half and, whoa my! Sydney Sears banking the triple. Abby Matthews with the dime. Chaska with their backups, at least most of them out there. We'll see if Centennial can turn this into something.
Well, that was a rarity tonight.
Sydney Sears, back-to-back three-pointers, have the Cougars turned a corner. Niebuhr nearly lost it. Schneider flips it in. Del Medico to Sears. Couldn't get the turnaround shot to work. Nelson drew it away. Higher called for the foul as Eddie Matthews was looking to force her way in.
Well, even in the face of adversity, Centennial is showing some heart here.
Remember, it's only game 2 out of a possible 32.
Right.
And I mentioned this last week when I did Wayzata Eastview. And the starters are going to return with 7:28 left. Even if the game is out of reach, you never know who's watching. Ruth Sin, for example, she's checking out Autumn McCall, but she might run into someone else. That piques her interest.
You watch a player, how they handle adversity.
I saw CeCe Keeger, who's part of the UMD coaching staff, scouting this one. I saw someone from St. Mary's chatting it up with Amina Allen earlier today. So you just never know when the scouts might be watching you. And if the scouts aren't watching you, the coaches will definitely find out when they review the film. So you can't let up. You can't throw in the towel and say, heck with it.
Oh, pretty finish there.
Ella Keenan certainly not doing that. That was a solid, shining kind of drive. McCall draws the foul, will shoot 2. Even though we're not in the mercy rule, I do feel like we're in stat padding time here with 6:40 left.
Yeah.
Centennial just got the worst possible beginning to the second half, and that put this one
out of reach,
outside of their grasp. But you look at the schedule between the two, Chaska, they may suffer some lumps because they're running through the Power 5 in the lake.
Right.
And then you've got Benilde St. Margaret's and an Orono team that is now one to be respected.
Oh, what a pass.
First try didn't go down. Ella Keenan there to trail. She's got 17. Remember, Keenan had that slow start. McCall inside to Peterson. And something else came to me, Alex, as I'm watching this unfold.
Yeah.
Even though Centennial brings back a lot of players, the biggest absence is Marissa Frost, who's at North Dakota State now, as Chaska zips it inside. Keenan with the assist, Toole with the bucket. Minnetonka, they're working with all new pieces. They still have a point guard, though, in Linnell Wright, who can do some damage. McCall's 3 is off the mark. Centennial, they don't have that crafty, reliable point guard, at least for now, the way Frost was, who
and
could score and get you steals. She was a defensive presence, an offensive anchor.
Right.
Centennial looking for the next iteration right now.
Right. They haven't, you just don't see an identity with this team yet. But obviously, as you pointed out, the point guard position is such a key spot for any basketball team. I mean, you have to have that so-called floor general out there who's basically a coach on the floor.
It's the basketball version of the quarterback. And if you're a football fan, there's a reason they often say the quarterback is the most important position on offense, because they direct so many components. The point guard, same role, same idea.
Yep.
Now, they don't have to worry about an offensive line or blitz coming their way, but they have to be the floor general. They have to be the one to orchestrate who goes where and make sure you get those passes in. Marissa Frost, a great example for Centennial the last few years. Chaska had that figure in Kennedy Sanders. I think of Madden Greenway at Providence, although I think she's more of a 2, but she can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Chloe Johnson, more of a lanky guard, I guess. She can do it all too.
Yep.
But they can hook up succinctly, smoothly. And this is only one game, Alex, a lot more to be had. But I feel like for Centennial, they've got a lot of learning ahead of them. I still think they can contend in Section 7. I feel like it's up for grabs right now. No clear favorite to get out of that group. For Chaska, things are unraveling a bit. Schneider on the attack.
I tell you what, good
that
recovery by Addie Perkins on that. Had the ball go in her back. She kind of lost it there momentarily and got it back.
And Schneider, the beneficiary. It's been that kind of game, though, for Chaska. At a 21-2 advantage to start the second half. And looking at it now, Alex, that advantage, it has tapered a bit or stabilized, but Chaska 34-14. Autumn McCall sinks the touch J. Chaska looking for the baseline jumper and a foul, which will send Caitlin Peterson to the line. Some games, Alex, it comes down to little things or small differences. Here, whoever's on the write-up for this one will have a pretty easy assessment to make.
Well, again, I think the strange thing is that at the halftime break, we were only looking at an 11-point deficit, and things just snowballed after that for Centennial.
This is 1-1. And I think we've seen the last of the starters for the most part. We'll be seeing the backups finish this off. Both teams will regroup. Centennial should get their share of wins. They, again, did beat Spring Lake Park. I know the Panthers aren't a giant in Section 5, but we know Centennial has the pieces to pick up some wins. Chaska, we'll have to see how they handle the top-tier contenders, combatants. They lost to Prior Lake. Not a terrible loss, but indicative of where they're at, not necessarily having the personnel they did a few years ago when they had Mallory Heyer and Kennedy Sanders and a few others who made this team tick. Jenna Nelson to the line. Chaska will have a lot of games on their slate. As Jenna Nelson gets on the board to test themselves, see where they're at. Do they have the personnel to hang with Minnetonka and EP? We'll have to see. I do think the Minnetonka loss to Orono earlier tonight will make Hopkins a number 1 unless Hopkins goes down.
Right.
They play Bedell St. Margaret's tomorrow. That isn't a guaranteed win for the Royals. Then I guess I can't make any proclamation. I thought 4A was solidified already. Here's a catch and shoot 3. Pure. Kaylin
Again,
Green.
some bright spots coming down the stretch here for the Cougars, but they've been few and far between.
Not enough at all. But it's a long season. We start in November, we'll end around late February. 26 games in the regular season, so you'll get plenty of chances to refine, polish, and show who you're made of. Kara Moger with the steal. Centennial flips it the other way, and Del Medico with another fast break layup. Alex, you mentioned Centennial's identity will be something they have to look for. And I wonder how they will handle this quest for the point guard spot.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting process to see how that all plays out. And again, if you're Jamie Sobolik, you have to feel a little bit fortunate that it's only Thanksgiving time. So you've got a little, I guess, do I dare say, play time to get things figured out. But
Moger won't score, but Natalie Heyer does. Another comparison I thought of here, illustrating the value of a point guard. You think about the Minnesota Lynx. Yeah. How they have fared since Lindsay Whalen retired.
Yep.
They were good enough to get to the finals and nearly win it this year, but they haven't found that consistent presence since her departure, and it shows. Centennial, they've got a lot of work to do as Heyer gets the three-point play for Chaska.
Right.
For Chaska, they've got a couple of key contributors, Schaefer and Keenan. I would expect those two to have another monster season. Heyer gets the steal. We'll see if Chaska lays off. No, Heyer's going to go for it. I don't blame her for that. Some scrappy play to close out this one. Long 3. Nope. And Chaska will inbound it one more time. But Chaska, Schaefer, and Keenan make a solid foundation. Can they get some others to join them down the road?
Exactly. Well, certainly not the drama that we had in the last game, but
no, but a good showing for Chaska, and they'll take the win no matter how it comes, 64-36.
Yep.
We'll see if we can get a word with some of the Chaska players before we call it a night. This is high school girls basketball. The Hawks defeat the Cougars 64-36 at Hutton Arena. Joining me are Alexis, Schaefer, and Ella Keenan, who paced Chaska in a runaway win over Centennial tonight. Alexis, you got off to a hot start. You and Autumn McCall, I thought it was going to be a one-woman show. They say this game isn't one-on-one, but it looked that way. That being said, you were able to get things started for Chaska until everyone else could step in. How crucial was that start for you?
I think it was really important to get us off to a lead and get our team on the right foot, especially coming off a rough loss when we were playing against another zone. So getting us off on the right foot, shooting well, driving, kicking the ball, really moving it really helped us get started.
And what do you make of this season? I understand you're going to Augustana.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you hope to accomplish this season that will prep you for your beginning in the NSIC next year?
I think just having a successful senior season, and especially as a team, and just overall development this year, and really working on just being more aggressive, being more confident in myself.
Ella, you were one of the many Chaska young women on the struggle bus to start, but you found your footing late in the first half and then really took off in the second. 21-2 advantage to start the second half. How did Chaska build it, and how did that help them hold off Centennial?
I think we started off the game pretty rough besides Alexis. We weren't really spacing. We struggled in the zone against our last game, so knowing we had to come out strong in the second half, we talked about pushing the ball, just getting our spacing, sharing, and so starting off, being able to get our bench in was really important to us. We've talked about that, so being able to go in there and just create that big gap helped.
And from the looks of it, you two may be called upon for leadership and production, all of that. How will you embrace that going into this season and getting a couple of wins to start now?
Yeah, I think we've had some really good role models over the past few years, and so growing up, being on the team and everything, we saw how to kind of make sure you can talk, you can call out people when it's needed, and that's what like a leader has to do. And so I think we've, especially a few games in now and being captains last year, we've realized how to kind of take on the role for the better of our team.
And I'm guessing you hope to avoid a similar start like tonight, but moving forward, being captains again and guiding a lot of youngsters at Chaska, maybe they don't have the household names they did a few years ago, but as we saw from the two of you, they still have a fulcrum, a foundation to build on. How do you hope to continue that trend from a year ago?
I think just really working as a team and really playing together and really like developing everyone in practice so that whoever goes in the game is ready, and just ensuing confidence in everyone and knowing that they can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a big thing in practice is making sure we push each other. Like in a game, we can't go easy. We have to push each other as hard as we can. It doesn't matter if you're fighting on the court, we'll all be friends after, because in order to win big games, we have to push each other. So.
Well, I hope there's not too much fighting between the two of you, because that could make for a really awkward senior season. And Ella, just quickly, how's the college recruiting process going for you?
I am not planning on playing in college, so.
Okay. Yeah. What are your plans then after high school?
I applied to a few schools. I'm planning on majoring in biology, so excited to see where I get accepted into and what the future brings.
Well, there's a lot more to this thing called life than your stat sheet and your record. So if you don't want to play basketball, that's fine. And I'm sure there might be a few folks who are sad, but you have the talent. But if you have another path in mind, that's perfectly fine too. Before we go, you want to say hi to anybody?
I don't know. Do you have anyone to say hi to?
Hi to my grandparents.
Hi to my grandparents and my family.
My brothers too. I don't know if they came today.
Yeah. I don't know if my family. I think my family was here.
And Ella, I just thought of one bright spot. If you decide not to play college basketball, you'll have more time to cheer on Alexis next year.
Okay, watch me crash your place a few times. So.
Oh, okay. Look out. If you're in Sioux Falls, look out for Ella. She's going to be crashing everything over there. Well, thanks for stopping by. Congrats on the win, and good luck as the season moves along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexis Schaefer and Ella Keenan. That will wrap up our coverage from the Pat Paterson Thanksgiving Tip-Off. For the rest of our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thanks for watching.